Congressman, Russian President Vladimir Putin is escalating his bombing campaign. What is your reaction to that? And what does it tell us about the effectiveness of the economic sanctions?
Well, what's significant is that he's escalating the bombing campaign near the Polish border. In the city of Lviv, we have a lot of Western journalists, a lot of Western aid organizations. I mean, frankly, a lot of Americans are there. And yet he's come up to Lviv's doorstep to try to threaten the NATO response. The fact of the matter is that NATO has shown extraordinary unity, not just on the economic front, but on the military front, and the Ukrainians are holding out. So Putin is finding himself in a tough position. His military is getting beaten down and beaten back. Frankly, none of us expected it to last this long. And that's why we've got to realize that there's a lot of different ways this conflict could go at this point.
Yeah, at this point, do you see a way to end this with diplomacy? I mean, what kind of off-ramp can NATO offer Russia?
Well, that's a great question, because diplomacy has been elusive throughout this entire conflict from before it started. Trying to figure out a solution that is acceptable to both sides has been very challenging. And that's why I was pleased to see the Biden administration put Patriot missile batteries in Poland recently. Let me explain. I think we need more chess pieces on the board. We need more things to negotiate with, things that we can ultimately take away in some sort of future diplomatic agreement. Remember that the Cuban Missile Crisis, which has a lot of parallels to this, was ended in part by U.S. agreement to withdraw missiles from Turkey. Now, it turned out that those missiles were outdated, but if we can put some missile batteries on the border of NATO that ultimately we could withdraw in a few weeks with a diplomatic settlement, that might be the kind of win that Putin needs to take home to his people, and ultimately it would be no change fundamentally to our security.
Is that something that you see happening?
Well, look, we all want a diplomatic solution here. And I think the difference that I may have with the administration is that I think we need to raise the stakes with Putin in order to get there. That might be counterintuitive to some, but he's going to keep raising the stakes. We need to show that we can go right along with him, support the Ukrainians, but also provide a pathway to diplomatically end this crisis.
And the Ukrainian forces are putting up this courageous fight. How much longer do you think they can hold on?
Well, everybody's talking about how the Russians are going to show no mercy in bombing the cities, attacking them with airstrikes, with artillery. I mean, this is going to be brutal for Ukrainian civilians. But what a lot of people are not talking about is how brutal this will also be for Russian troops. Having fought in urban settings before myself, I can tell you urban combat is some of the most brutal that there is. Military strategists estimate that you need about 6 attacking troops. So in other words, 6 Russians for every 1 Ukrainian defender who can hide in different apartments, jump from window to window, throw Molotov cocktails and sniper shots out of windows. This is going to be very difficult for the Russian troops. And right now, they still have not entered any of the major cities.
That's very good insight, of course, you being with the U.S. Marines formerly also. And so President Biden has repeatedly said the U.S. will not send forces into Ukraine. Do you think that could change?
No, I don't. I think that's the right decision. We all need to avoid World War III, and putting U.S. troops in direct contact with Russian troops could well get us there. The challenge we have is, how do you walk this line? How do you walk this line of supporting the Ukrainian troops, showing NATO's resolve? In other words, being willing to escalate alongside Putin, but not escalating too much that this gets out of hand.
Okay, I know you were on that call recently with President Zelensky. Your takeaways about him?
I think Zelensky is doing a fantastic job. Most importantly, he is showing what a leader really is, someone who can stand with his people, stand with his troops. A lot of people thought that Zelensky might get out of the country in order to save himself and his family. Instead, he's fighting alongside his people. He's literally on the ground in a bunker. There's nothing more that we can ask for a leader right now in crisis. And he's showing what it means to fight for freedom, to fight for sovereignty, values that I don't think Vladimir Putin understands.
A lot of heart there. He said, Zelensky said he needs ammunition, it's not a ride out. Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Congressman Seth Moulton. We appreciate you joining us.